sometimes that I'm not listened to. I feel that I'm not getting the attention that I need, and it's a lot built up in my chest. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
By the order. Now, for those affected, be sure to boil all water used for drinking, cooking, brushing teeth, or making ice for at least a minute.
And as of now, city officials say they are working to resolve the issue, and they will be keeping you updated on the Blue Sign in Scotland and on local Facebook pages.
And in other news, we have an exciting update on our annual Tackle Hunger campaign.
As of yesterday, with online and in-store donations, the morning team of Natalie and I are in the lead with 270 pounds versus the evening team of Carney and Aaron at 256.
Now, as a reminder, boxes are placed at different United Supermarket locations where you can drop off those donations. You'll also find a QR code on the boxes, like the one on your screen, to make a donation. You can also find it over on our website. Just click the link at the top.
And as we move over to meteorologist Noah Chomley, unfortunately, we have breaking news that is very sad. The popular actress Catherine O'Hara it was just brought in that she passed away at the age of 71. She died in her home in Los Angeles following a brief illness, according to her agency, the CAA, and there's no other information available, but our sister's condolences. I remember watching her in a number of movies, including Home Alone.
Yeah, such a talented actress. So sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Switching gears now, Noah, what are we watching locally weather-wise?
Well, for the rest of today, we'll get up to a high of 46 degrees. We're going to see sunny skies, 30 degrees as we go into tomorrow with that cold front coming through, and we'll go right back to 55 for Sunday.
Okay, Noah, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday starting at 5 a.m. Have a great one, Son.
Find the Loft at Pickers for a memorable dining experience. Try our American Southern cuisine with an abundance of flavor, plus desserts and drinks at one of our 2 bars. Dine inside or out on our patio. The Loft at Pickers. Make your reservation today.
Investar Bank, formerly First National Bank. Member FDIC.
From your local news authority, local, in-depth, community. You're watching KFDX3 News at Noon. Home of Super Bowl 60 and the 2026 Winter Olympics.
Good Friday afternoon. Joining us, I'm Natalie McCain.
And I'm Jalen Wells. New at noon today, we're learning that the monthly art walk in downtown Wichita Falls will no longer continue for the time being.
That's right. According to a press release sent to our newsroom this morning, downtown Wichita Falls development will not have art walk events in 2026. It comes as downtown development reportedly lacks sufficient funding, staffing, and safeguards.
Tyshin Dawson is live from downtown Wichita Falls. And Tyshin, this comes after multiple attempts to save it.
Yes, that's exactly right. I'm here downtown where the art walk has lined these streets for years, but we have received word that that will not continue. Now, I spoke with a board member of Downtown Development who says the decision came after a failure to secure enough funds to ensure safety for everyone involved, that being attendees, vendors, and downtown businesses. Now, the event started out as a small community event that grew to a festival size, bringing in over 10,000 people a month, and safety became the biggest concern. I'm told that there were multiple attempts to secure funding, but the decision was made to allocate the funds they were receiving to other projects in the city. Being that it was a free event for attendees and vendors, the board says they made no money and that the expenses were too great to continue to ensure safety. The goal is to bring other festival-like events to the city, but for now, we'll just have to wait and see. Tyshan Dawson, KFDX3 News.
All right, thank you, Taishan, for that report. Now, as he mentioned, Downtown Development says they are exploring other ways to support local arts, and we'll have more on this developing story tonight at 5 and 6.
That's not the only change Downtown Development is making this year, though. That same press release revealing changes to the farmers market and future festivals.
The changes come alongside a, quote, strategic transition thanks to funding changes. Beginning February 1st, the city's Parks and Recreation Department will take over the Downtown Farmers Market on Ohio Avenue. Since 2012, Downtown Development has managed the farmers market, but early last year, the nonprofit was informed funding would be redirected to other city projects. According to the press release, the market will continue under city management with no interruption to operations.
Changes will also be made to festivals. While the St. Patrick's Day Festival will continue on March 14 at 8th in Indiana, this year's Cajun Fest is canceled. Downtown Development says they're focusing all volunteers and resources on just one major spring festival. Nonprofit staff say they're also evaluating the possibility of future community events like a potential fall festival. However, it would depend on sponsorships and community investment. Lastly, Downtown Development says the future of the City Lights Parade is under consideration. It requires lots of manpower and funding. So whether or not 2026 will see a City Lights Parade is in question.
Downtown Development staff says they're still committed to the downtown area despite these changes, and they're searching for ways to continue improving the area.
And breaking news out of Archer County's 97th District Court, where the same jury of 7 men and 5 women who found Jerry Canada guilty of child sex crimes yesterday have now set his sentence.
That's right. The 45-year-old former volunteer firefighter was convicted yesterday of indecency with a child by exposure and indecency by contact stemming from an outcry made by a 14-year-old girl back in 2023. The jury needed just an hour and 15 minutes to deliberate before returning the guilty verdicts.
Today, it took them just 10 minutes of deliberation to return maximum sentences, 20 years in prison for indecency by contact and 10 years of indecency by exposure, with presiding judge Trish Coleman Byers stacking the 2 sentences. And since the jury also found the victim was under 14 years old when the crimes occurred and unanimously returned a true verdict on that special issue, he will not be eligible for parole, meaning Canada will have to serve all 30 years of his sentence. We're now going to turn things over to meteorologist Noah Chomley for a look at our Friday afternoon forecast. And Noah, we are still watching snow slowly start to melt away. And I hear that tomorrow might be a little cold as well, too.
Yeah, we do have a cold front working its way into the region as we head into tonight. So we need to get a good chunk of melting and roads cleared as we head throughout today. Because we look at satellite and radar, we see a lot of clear skies. And that's going to help us a ton as we go throughout today, as we are looking at the sunlight to continue to warm that area and continue to melt a lot of the ice and snow that continues to remain across Texoma. It's back up to 40 degrees, so good melting will continue. You're going to see some warmer air off to our west, but that's going to try to work its way in, but not too much as we go into this afternoon. Oklahoma City at 33, Dallas-Fort Worth 42. That is 5 degrees cooler for us than we were 24 hours ago, while Dallas-Fort Worth 13 degrees cooler. Same as Houston. Austin 14 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. But a cold front is going to come through as we head into tonight and early tomorrow morning. We're looking at a cold Saturday, but the good news is we are warming right back up as we head into Sunday with possible 60s as we go into next week. I'll look at your full forecast coming in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, thank you, Noah. Turning now to national headlines, President Trump this morning announced his new pick to lead the Federal Reserve, former Fed official Kevin Warsh. The nomination comes after months of fighting with the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell, whose term ends in May. Washington correspondent Trevor Shirley is in D.C. with more.
The expectation is this nomination will bring the Fed more closely in line with policies the White House wants. The president made the announcement earlier today on Truth Social, saying Warsh will, quote, go down as one of the great Fed chairmen, maybe the best. Warsh previously served on the Federal Reserve Board from 2006 to 2011 and was the youngest person to ever serve in that position. It's expected President Trump nominated Warsh, believing he'll be someone that steers the Fed closer to preferred White House policies, especially when it comes to lowering interest rates. However, Warsh has previously supported higher interest rates to control inflation. During his time as a board governor, Warsh objected to some of the low interest rate policies the Fed pursued during the 2008 Great Recession. Warsh's nomination by the president doesn't guarantee the president's unyielding support either. Keep in mind, President Trump also nominated current Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell during his first term as president. That relationship soured, with Powell refusing to lower interest rates as fast as the president wants, leading to an all-out public feud between the two men since President Trump returned to office. Last year, Warsh spoke about his views on the Fed's independence amid ongoing criticism by President Trump.
I believe in the operational independence and the conduct of monetary policy as a political economy matter. I think the economy is better off if the world perceives, markets perceive, members of Congress perceive. You got central banks that are calling it the best they see it. But the operational conduct of monetary policy doesn't mean that the Fed shouldn't be criticized. Central bankers should not be pampered princes. If Chairman Hill and his colleagues think that we're doing a terrible job at the central bank, they should be able to call it out. Same thing with the president.
Markets happened to fall sharply overnight, but then appeared to stabilize today following the announcement of Warsh's nomination. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
Well, a new poll shows a razor-thin Texas Democratic primary Senate race between U.S. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Representative James Tallarico. As yesterday, Texas Public Opinion Research released a poll showing 38% support for Jasmine Crockett, 37% support for James Tallarico, and 21% of voters undecided. Pollsters asked more than 1,200 likely Democratic primary voters, and the poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.7 percentage points. The TPOR's poll is the third public poll of the race, with the first showing Crockett in the lead and the second showing Tallarico leading. Luke Warford, the director of the TPOR, says a lot could change the closer we get to the March 3rd primary.
A lot of it is going to happen in the final 4 weeks. And, for better or worse, we do see that a lot of voters, even Democratic primary voters, don't start really tuning into elections and politics until the final few weeks before an election.
Next, I'll reach out to both campaigns to comment on the poll, but neither team got back to us.
Well, speaking of election season, Monday is the deadline to register to vote for the March primary election. Texans will decide the Democratic and Republican nominees for important races like U.S. Senator, Governor, and Attorney General. In recent history, Texans have not shown up to vote in March, with only 18% showing up in the 2024 primary. But the recent spotlight on immigration enforcement in Minnesota could change that. Both state political parties say the issue could increase voter engagement. Now, if you want to check the status of your voter registration or need to update your address, just visit votetexas.gov.
And a boil order is now in effect for the city of Scotland and other surrounding areas after a loss in water pressure. The notice applies to Scotland residents who live in the areas east, west, and south of the water plant. Customers who receive water from the transmission line coming from Wichita Falls are not affected by this order. For those affected, city officials are recommending to boil all water used for drinking, cooking, brushing teeth, or making ice. They say bring water to a boil for at least 1 full minute and allow it to cool before you use it. As of now, city officials say they are working to resolve the issue, and they will be keeping you updated on the blue sign in Scotland and on local Facebook pages.
Well, in other news, we have an exciting update in our Tackle Hunger campaign. Jalen and I remain in the lead. Now, as of yesterday, with online and in-store donations, our morning team, well, we're at 270 pounds versus the evening team of Carney and Aaron at 256.
It appears the lead has slimmed down. Now, as a reminder, boxes are placed at different United Supermarket locations where you can drop off your donations, and you'll also find a QR code on the boxes, just like the one on your screen, to make a monetary donation. Of course, the winners, the true winners of this competition, are the ones who benefit from the food bank resources. However, the morning team has never won this type of competition. We were leading by a lot, and now that we're getting closer,
it's exciting.
It's exciting.
It's heating up. And also, I wanted to mention, you can also vote on our website, TexasHomepage.com. It's right at the very top, but don't make a mistake and click Carney and Aaron. No. You want to vote for us.
No. We don't want to see those guys Vote for the people
Vote
you're
for us.
watching now.
Yeah, we like that. In other news, though, if you're thinking this weekend is a good time for some Saturday morning flapjacks, you're definitely not alone.
The University Kiwanis Club Pancake Fest returns for its 70th year tomorrow, and tickets are $11 in advance today, $12 at the door, and children 6 and under eat for free. Now, you can get yours at all United supermarkets in Wichita Falls and Burke Burnett, as well as online.
All proceeds from the Pancake Festival go toward Kiwanis Club's mission of supporting kids, and it's happening tomorrow at the J.S. Bridwell Ag Center on Burnett Road in Wichita Falls. And Jalen and I will be there stacking pancakes, flipping them too, so be sure to stop by and say hello.
We'll be serving up some really good cakes, so yep,
Yeah,
we got it.
Say hi. Coming up a little later, the Grammys are coming up this Sunday, and a star-studded lineup is announced for performances you can look forward to. That's in today's Entertainment Report.
Plus, Alicia of Idea Wichita Falls is joining us here in the studio to talk about how your business can get a big boost with Idea Wichita Falls. That's right after No One Knows the Weather Forecast. The meteorologist Noah Trombley. Stay with us.
You're watching KFDX3 News at Noon with Jalen Wells, Natalie McCain, and weather with Noah Trombley. Closed captioning on KFDX is sponsored by Hamilton Bryan Furniture and Appliance.
This is your prime time. News Nation, a different kind of prime. Diverse voices, fresh perspectives, with respect for all of us. This is America's new prime time, only on News Nation.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. But with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My opponent is completely disregarding almost half of my arguments which I responded to.
Communities must step up
Laws
and
alone
protest
cannot
against this
stop the
normalizing.
bullet.
Well, I completely disagree.
Point of inquiry, do you guys even realize that the #1 killer of children and teens are gun injuries?
You're probably starting to realize now, this is not a debate.
There is no adult in this earth that wants children